Good morning. Sunny day here today in Issaqua. We've had enough rain to do us for a long time. There you go. Quiet day today, kinda. You know what we're doing? My main work actually this week is upstairs printing. 3 colors are now finished on the octopus print, the first batch of them. But I'm not going to try doing that on the stream. There's no way. This morning's work on the octopus is the actual final hair overlay. There's no way I'm going to try that and chat with you guys on distraction. So that's going to be done by myself later this morning. Also, we can't show that print on Twitch stream. So for the next while, you're going to see me. I'll take a break from my printing and do some carving here. There's going to be no end to this. Still going to be days of work to get through this key block, and then there'll be color blocks on top of that. And this is supposed to be published in May. Okay. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Let me get a bit of work done here. Interesting stuff coming on. Who knows? We do have a little show and tell today. A little in the sense it's a small package. And it's a continuation from the show and tell on Monday. There's even a shadow at the bottom of the scissors here, John's done. Yeah, interesting. So speaking of John Amos, is he here today? Has he showed up yet? If John shows up, let me know. I got an email from him this morning. His book is on sale online. The website is open for ordering his book of the Appalachian Trail. He was here, it says. He's gone already? So boring after 3 minutes. Anyway, it seems his website is up and running for his book, the Appalachian Trail book. I guess is finally available now. So I guess he must have got enough copies finally packed. Not sure if it's the best time to be actually shipping such an interesting item, such a unique item around the world, because we're finding at this end shipping is really turning out to be something difficult for us right now, of course. When one of our packages goes lost, it's really not such a big deal. We can replace the print. We're making prints in multiple copies. There's no limited editions or anything. But if one of John's books goes lost, that's a big deal. He's only making a certain number of them. And that would be big trouble. So I'm not sure if he should really be shipping those things all over the place just yet. Oh, Long John, I see. Kids to shop. Those crows, it's kids. Both, there's crows too. Saw for a long time. Tourist baggage. I don't think it's a tourist. That sound of suitcases being carted along the street used to be our daily background soundtrack. It's not coming back for a long, long time. Okay, one pair of scissors ready. Okay, barren skin done, scissors done, central barren is there. What should we do next? Let's do the hand. Be careful, there are bumps into these border lines. our morning is great. We're staying safe. So far, both okay. Nice sunny day. I've got lots and lots and lots of work to do. I'm here by myself, totally. No one will bother me today. In that sense, I'm safe. My food's all being delivered. Amazon's dropping something off today. They will drop it off just outside the glass there. What's this black thing here? Is that shadow? Just a sec. Okay, it's shadow, I guess, right? That's the edge of the table. This line is, what's that line? Oh, I see, that's a string shadow. That's the shadow of the string. So, this part of the string, oh, I see, it meets its own shadow there. That's a string, that's the string itself, and this is the string shadow going into the shadow of his hand. Okay, I get it. Okay, so just cut what I see here, just carve what I see. Don't worry too much about what it is. That's string shadow, string shadow. It's only black lines, just cut them. This curves both ways. It curves around this way and it curves that way. So, ooh. This will be coming in from here. What was that? What's the question here? The news about Japan stopping shipment, servicemen unaffected. It's country by country. Japan at the moment, when we go to the post office here, some countries are completely stopped. They're not accepting any mail for many European countries. Scandinavia. They just don't accept it because there's not enough planes going back and forth to carry the mail. They are still accepting mail for, this is from Japan, they're accepting mail from, as of yesterday, US, Canada, Germany, France, UK, Hong Kong, Taiwan. They're on the OK list. Pretty much everything else at the moment, they're not accepting mail. So we can't send anything. In case of subscribers, Cameron's notified them. They can pay for their subscription, we'll hold it, or they can put their subscription on hold and we'll just get back to them when the post offices wake up again. The order forms on our website, we're doing the octopus right now. We did talk about that in a few minutes. People had the choice. They could order it and pay for it now and we'll hold it. If they're a shippable country, we ship it now. If they're a non-shippable country, they can either order later or they can order now. US won't get shipments. This is as of when? I know this morning when I checked, I wake up each morning, 6:30, 6 o'clock, get in my phone and I check the USPS website. So if this is something new, then I don't know. Let's have a look. Where are we here? International mail services, shipping restrictions, international shipments. This is USPS outbound. Japan is not on their block list. They've suspended the guarantees. That's okay. They're still accepting mail. Japan, as of this morning, the US is not on the block list, so I don't know what you're seeing. I'm not sure. We are checking this like daily, more than daily. We're checking it any number of times a day. So. 0423, what do we got here? Japan Post, something new. Let's have a look. Oh, there you are, from tomorrow. Today's the last day. We've just informed of significant delay in the delivery of international mail to the US due to the flight reductions and suspension of aircraft. We have made every possible effort to ship promptly in cooperation with airlines and the US Postal Service. From April 24th, Friday onwards, we will temporarily stop accepting international mail items addressed to the United States. EMS, that's it, we're done. Mokhankan is now out of business. Whatever. Surface mail, they'll take it by boat. They'll take it by boat. Mokhankan is now out of business. All those octopus orders yesterday. 93 prints yesterday, two days, in the last 2 days, 93 prints. Many of them to, just not going to send this to Cameron right away, hang on a sec. It was a nice day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What can I say? What can I do? There's a few things involved here, of course. They're saying all these things because there's not enough planes going back and forth. And of course, a lot of airmail postage goes in the bottom of the airplanes that are carrying people. But there are also cargo aircraft, you know. And every Christmas, for example, when there's a huge volume of mail, they rent cargo aircraft and send them across the oceans back and forth with mail. Why aren't they doing that this time? Why aren't they just hiring airplanes? Like there's lots of unused airplanes right now. Why aren't they paying the money to rent those airplanes, put the mail in them and take them back and forth? Whatever, I'll look into it later. I don't, that's all I can can't think with it as I sit here right now. Yeah, jet fuel is cheap, right? Maybe to take it, right? All the pieces are in place. I think what's been happening, they've just been waiting thinking, well, it's going to come back to normal in a couple of months or something. It's not going to come back to normal. It's done. There's no more international travel for years. It's done. Why don't they just get on the new plan, you know? Anyway, whatever. This is carving time, let's just carve. But with no shop and no international shipments and no subscriptions, we are cooked. Actually, we are cooked. We're done. It's ABC. We have 3 legs for our business. Online sales, subscriptions, and a shop. And I was ready for one leg to come up. When the earthquake hit Tokyo, you know, whatever, the shop would be closed for 6 months or something, but we would still have online. And now all 3 legs are gone. We have to make a decision what to do about this building, of course. We have no debt. We're not in trouble. David, I'm speaking, Dave's not in trouble. Well, it's okay. No, we're breaking the news. But the question is, do we hold on to this Asakusa building? If we were thinking, okay, a year from now, just to start the conversation, if a year from now tourists were going to come back, it would make sense to try and hold this thing, pay money for it, gather together, hold this thing so that we can get back to normal a year from now. But I can't see tourists coming back, even a year from now. We need a vaccine. Until there's a vaccine, nobody's going to get on crowded airplanes and airports and trains and go to strange places, or the companies won't even let them in. There's going to be no resumption of normal tourist activity easily until the vaccine is here and it's spread around all the world. What's the time frame on that? A year? Minimum a year and a half? 2 years maybe. Maybe just not that they have a vaccine, but that everybody has it. I can't pay the rent on this place for 2 years. I just can't do it. And it's not a question of asking fans for support. We're looking at $5,000 a month. It's just not possible for something that may not even come back, may not even happen. Our lease here runs out at the end of August. And it looks like that's crunch time. We can hang on until July and August. We've got savings. That's about the time when our savings would have run out anyway. So that's looking like the plan here, you know. We hold on for a couple more months here. At the end of August, say goodbye to the landlady. All the printers work at home, whatever printers are still working for me then. I go back to Ome and go back to the life I had 10 years ago. Quiet, peaceful life. I own the Ome building. There's no mortgage on that, so that's covered. And just forget these stocks. It was nice fun. It was good fun having it, the print parties and the people and everything else. If I owned the building, no problem. We just shutter it. We sit inside here and I just hunker down, and then maybe 2 years later or 3 years later or 4 years later, whatever, when people start to show up again, we open up. But I don't own the building. I don't see any other way around it. We were thinking we could hold on with subscriptions, pay our rent, use the workshop upstairs, and subscriptions would keep us going until maybe tourists come back. But if the post office is going to drop the ball on this, I can't blame them. If they're going to cut, then we're cooked. We're cooked. We're cooked. Yeah, we're done, Karen. What it says is ones that are stopped are EMS, then Kogato Hosubu, small packet, which is our subscription prints that go by air. The ones they're still accepting are small packet by sea, and then Tsuyubin small letters. Again, by sea, not by air. So unless we switch to a subscription system of sending our stuff by sea, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Talk about the landlady, yes, we haven't talked to her yet. This is sort of the next part of the discussion. We haven't talked to her yet for a couple of reasons. One is because up to just the last few days, there's been no sense here in Tokyo that there's any panic or anything going on, anything bad. Unless you look at international news and stuff, you don't even know. You've seen them. There's people crowding the bars, crowding the train stations. Oh, whatever, it's just the flu, it'll be over in a few days and whatever. So our landlady, as far as we know, has no sense really that there's any looming disaster here. So we've postponed the idea of giving her a call and, okay, let's meet you in a coffee shop and let's have a talk about this. We've postponed that till we feel that she really gets an idea what's happening here. When there's like bodies piled up in the parking lots of the hospitals and stuff like in New York, you know. When we start to see that here in Tokyo, that's when we're thinking it's time to talk to the landlady. Whether anything can happen or not, because of that, I don't know. I don't know how much debt she carries on the building, how much she needs to rent, or how much is just going into her savings. No idea. Online, can you accept the orders before the warning? Well, we've got that at the moment up to now. I'll change it as soon as I get off this train, but we've put the delivery time warning on the shopping cart. Everybody clicks through to see that. John's saying, why not send it by sea? Well, I guess that's simply going to be the option. We will figure out what the post office is going to take, and then the email going out to subscribers will have one more option. Instead of cancel, hold, it'll have, if you want, you can put this on a boat. Of course, we will try this. We will desperately try and hang on to everything here. Well, the boat method of shipment was bad simply because it takes time. What can I say? I mean, we're talking about a monthly subscription for a small, tiny package. And if it takes 4, 5, 6 weeks to get there, if it does turn out to be reliable, of course, I mean, we will try this, but it's not an optimum way. Normally, our I don't have one handy here. I've got similar, whatever. I don't have one in a package, but our subscription prints go in a little package like this, most of them, and they go in an envelope. So it's actually easy. It goes in with most everything, very light and very easy. We can't use FedEx or something, minimum $30, $40 for a print that's in some cases only $30. So this is order printed month ago. It hasn't left Tokyo according to the tracking. We've been seeing this now. We've been people talking to us. We're checking the tracking numbers. Stuff we put in the post office a month ago for the US has not left Narita Airport yet. So this is the announcement today is not totally unexpected. They've just given up accepting anymore. Well, this is another idea, and Fly Fish Fun has mentioned this. We have talked to Jed about this. In the case of our subscription prints, I got a quote from DHL, a couple of weeks ago. The idea is this: get our subscription prints, the ones that are targeted for US addresses. Get them all packed at this end, address labels on, no stamps. Put them all in a DHL box, fire it over there. Jed or Jed's assistant gets it, or Cameron's brother-in-law, or something like this. They put on the stamps, out they go as US domestic mail. We were actively exploring this until I got the quote from DHL. They have standard size boxes that are all arranged for this sort of thing. I don't have the prices in front of me right now. There was 5 boxes. The first 3 were too small. The box number 4, we could put, I forget the exact number here now, we could put, 22 of our little packages like this. 22 of these fit inside the DHL box, and that was $180 to spend. And the next one, I think 32 of our packages fit in, and it was $350. And when we did the math, each one of these now has a fee of extra 500 yen on top of it. And then we have to put US postage on, and then pay a staff member that to do that and take them to the mailbox. It ended up being $8 or $9 extra per print. This is this thing that we're selling for $30. And also DHL said 3 weeks before they will come and pick it up for new customers. We will explore now. I mean, what wasn't possible 2 weeks ago financially, maybe now, because the USPS is done, maybe it's now financially possible. We will get the spreadsheets out again. Yeah, and again, somebody says maybe the customers will pay an extra. This is what we did with the subscriptions for the past 2 months. We've done this. If you want to pay an extra, it was $4 extra for tracking. We split the difference. They pay 2, we pay 2. So we put that option on. So yes, we will do this. We will try. We will get the DHL figure again, see if they will come and pick up. Whatever. You know, people say they don't care how long they have to wait. That's nice. If somebody's waited 3 years for the octopus, they're going to wait another couple of months. That's nice. But the subscription model, selling overseas, very small, very inexpensive items, that's the model that is now going to really take a beating. And that's our core business. That's our core business, is small scale items zipped around the world on a regular timetable. The special stuff could wait, I guess, clearly. It's the subscription model. Anyway, let's do a bit more carving here. So I don't know. I was talking with Shiba-san, you know, one of our staff members, the girl who does the designs. Her new print, the new Ninja print is out. I was chatting with her about this. The orders came in really, really well over the past few days. I was chatting with her about this, and while I was doing so, I'd mentioned that the octopus was up online, and, you know, her printer was online, and they're going really well. And she said, good. Did you remember to go over to talk to Hokusai yet? And I'm like, I didn't actually do that. She says, get over there. What are you doing? You remember what happened last time? Yeah, but this is just, you couldn't write the script for this any different, any better. I mean, those of you who know what I'm talking about here, when we started the Great Wave Project 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, it encountered huge problems. Just every step along the way, things went wrong and things went wrong and things went wrong. And Shiba-san, along with some of the other staff, said, Dave, it's because you haven't asked Hokusai for permission to use this picture, or, you know, you've been friendly to him. You're just doing this, you know, go and talk to the guy. And I just literally laughed at him. Yeah, right, come on guys, please, give me a break. Hokusai's grave was just 10 minutes walk from here. Whatever, we've talked about this story many times before. Long story short, eventually they rebelled. They said, if you don't do this, like, we will do it, or whatever, you know, whatever. So I did. And we blogged about this and talked about this. And maybe it was even part of one of our videos, whatever. I did. I went out and we did a bit of research on what Hokusai liked. It turned out he wasn't much of a drinker, according to the leftover documentation. But he liked the sweets that are called daifuku. True or not, I don't know. This is what Wikipedia story about him says. So I bought some daifuku, went over there, one of the staff, Shiba-san went with me and took some pictures. And we put the pictures up on the blog and left the daifuku there and we said thank you. And then whatever, the project just took off, magically took off. Just everything went right from then on in. So last week she's asking me, I'm doing another octopus, which is another Hokusai design, and she's saying, did you remember to go and say hello to him? And I didn't. Now we take all those orders. So over the last 2 days we've taken orders for 93 of those prints. And now the post office says you can't deliver those. When she hears this, she's going to go batshit. She's going to just say, see? I guess the other part of that U.S. news, with the Japanese post office not accepting air shipments for the U.S. now, is that's public information, and our landlady, we can make sure she hears about that. So I can now maybe schedule an appointment with her. Aoyama-san and I were talking about this the other day, and Cameron's at home these days working, so he doesn't sit around and chat in different conversations. He's been busy with a new baby and stuff, I guess. So it's mostly been me and Aoyama-san who are trying to be brainstorming on this, figuring out what to do on this. And he and I were chatting about this the other day, thinking about the future, 2 months, 3 months when we can't afford to pay for the Asakusa building anymore, stuff like this, And he said, when we're talking to her, and he paused and looked at me. I said, look, I know what you're thinking, Aoyama-san, but please, don't go there. And what he was thinking, and what I'm thinking too, actually, don't laugh at me about this, but when we go and talk to her, you'll think we're insane when we say this, but you'll think we're insane, but there's another thing at play here. Down the street here now, towards the temple, not in the direction this camera's pointing here, the other direction. Between here and the temple, there are now 2 for lease signs on doors on those buildings down towards the temple. And I've never seen this. In the 5-6 years I've been here in Asakusa, I've never seen a for lease sign on the door of a closed shop. What you will see is just normal business, and one day there's a curtain going up, construction starts, and somebody it's the 31st of the month, where somebody's finished their lease, and construction is starting on the new guy's stuff. In other words, whenever some business decides to close or retire or whatever, it goes to the real estate agents and people know, and the new guy is in there long before. So it's pre-arranged because there's such high demand for all the real estate around this area. It's one of the areas of Tokyo that for the past decade or whatever has had really high demand. Ginza, Omotesando, Asakusa, areas where the tourists come. And now I see 2 signs that say for rent. 2 of them. So somebody has come to the end of their business, somebody's died, retired, closed, whatever reason, and nobody has picked it up. The most in-demand real estate in Tokyo, nobody's picked it up. So that would seem to be an advantage for us if we talk to this landlady. She doesn't have somebody else who could come in here quickly, it would seem, if there's empty buildings now. Here and how, here and how, here and how. So the idea then is, Aoyama-san said, when we go to talk to her, why don't we offer to buy it? Take it off her hands. It's going to be unrentable, It's falling down. This is an ancient building. It's older than I am. I'm 68 years old. Why don't we offer to buy it? And on the face of this is insane. We have no money. I think I know where to get some. I don't know. If we could have a plan for this, get financing, some public, some bank, some crowdfunded, whatever, buy the thing. That's a different story now. We've got debt, but we have an asset now. It's a different story. We can hunker down and wait out the sales. Instead of paying rent to her, we're paying a bank loan or something off bit by bit by bit. We struggle and scrape and struggle and scrape. And we've got the building now. We'd be in debt. I'd be in debt up to here at age 68. But the future for this company would be much more secure. So rather than just this month, next month, August, run away, close back to Ome, shut down, and maybe in the future come back. Instead of hiding from this thing, that was pleasant, jump on it. Just jump on it. Go for broke. Go for broke. Gamble everything. Interest rates are minus. They're zero. They're zero. They're zero. They're zero. They're in zero now. But if you get like a 25-year loan and interest rates are next to zero, what happens 5 years later when the interest rates have gone to 13%? Then of course it's game over. Yeah, as Karen says, do it, but, it isn't quite so simple. One, she would have to say yes, and she would have to be willing to sell it. Then two, we would have to try and arrange financing. X% I could get crowdfunded. Absolutely, I can't get it all in the crowd. I'd have to get some from the bank. Then it's not just the landlady. Whenever you buy land here, you're not buying the land, you're buying the building. You're not buying the land. The land is owned by the Sensoji Temple. And they will authorize any transfer. If we make a deal with her to do this, they just authorize it. But we have to pay them 5 million yen. It's about, she said she paid them 5 million for a transfer fee when she bought the building. That's $50,000. Whatever, it's on top of it. But the biggest problem about this idea that I'm just blowing out here is that the building itself is worth nothing. It's junk. It's old, it's decrepit. The next earthquake is going to knock it out of commission. So when we're buying the building, what we're really buying is a pile of junk sitting on top of permission to use this specific spot of land. So buying the building means spending the $1 million or $500,000 or whatever the number is on a piece of junk. And then when the earthquake comes and the fire department says you can't use this anymore, you have to pay a few $100,000 to get it torn down, and then you have to build a new building on it, getting a mortgage on that. It's just mortgage on top of mortgage on top of mortgage. I'm 68 years old. So he suggested it to me, I looked at him, we looked at it, we put some numbers, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed, like, what are you, who are you kidding, you know? It would be the ultimate gamble of my life. Put me in debt for the rest of my life. For what purpose? So that the people who come after me here have a better chance of maintaining a job. But I myself would be in debt, clearly, for the rest of my life. And Karen says, go for it, go for it. My daughters might have other ideas here. How many millions of dollars of debt do they want to inherit? This post office thing too, and that explanation now, I understand something that happened yesterday now makes sense. Yesterday, Cameron sent me a couple of orders for packing. People are ordering things from the flea market. And those are shipped from here in Asakusa, not from Ome, because the flea market goods are here. And EMS comes to pick up. We just phone, after the packages are ready, I phone the local post office, they come and pick them up. A few minutes later, the guy's here with a bicycle or bike or truck, whatever, and they pick them up. So yesterday I got these two packages ready at around 3 o'clock or so. I called the post office to pick them up. And you go through the robot phone call, and I get to a human being, and she says, okay, good. She says, okay, we'll be there, and she pauses, and we'll be there tomorrow afternoon. And I said, Kyo no muri desu ka? I said, what, not possible today? She says, no, it'll be tomorrow. Interesting, and I now see why. Because she knew about this announcement that hadn't been made public yet for the 24th. So clearly they're going to call me this morning and they say, I'm sorry, we can't do this, we can't pick up today because America has now been closed. She knew about this yesterday. John Beck says, I wouldn't be in debt, the company would be. I own the place, it's the same thing, you know, whatever. The other thing about this thing, about the buildings and stuff being cheap, I mean, there is an idea here, there really is an idea here. The thing though about buildings being cheap, I know exactly, it's already happening, I know exactly what will be happening. The big real estate companies, the Mitsubishi Sumitomo's and all that kind of stuff, they are just sitting there now, rubbing their hands in glee. They're going to look for the bottom and they're going to buy as much of Tokyo as they possibly can. They have endless resources, they have endless savings, endless money in the banks. They are the banks. They are just sitting here now. The guys are just sitting here going, they're going to buy everything they can get their hands on. So it's not like it's a market with no buyers. It's that the buyers are sophisticated, they are loaded with money, they were just going to simply pick and pick and pick and wait for the bottom. So if we try and buy from here, that's the market we're going to be entering. It sounds cool because it's a crashing market. There's no value in this stuff, but you're competing with sharks. Thousands of sharks in the same water. So I don't know if such a thing would be even possible. I don't know. Could the landlady be offended? No, I think whatever she likes us, she likes what we're doing, she loves us. Just simply we would put it on the table as part of a discussion. You could frame it as this. Suzuki-san, this is a really difficult environment for everything, what might be a better idea? Suppose we did this. Suppose we arranged financing, bought the place from you, then you don't have to worry about the earthquake anymore. Because that's the thing from her point of view, She's renting this now and getting money every month. But because she's the owner and I'm the renter, if that earthquake comes and the fire department puts that big X on the front door because this thing is not safe, I don't pay rent. I have a problem. I got to find a new place to do business, but she has a bigger problem. She has now to rebuild this place. I don't know her financing in the background, but she then has no choice. It'll be whatever. You've got 4 months to get this thing down according to law, and away she goes. And she then has that problem. And she's even older than me. It's an interesting point. If we had financing behind us, if we were one of those real estate companies, whatever, no problem. It's just buy it, fix it, and just sit. Tokyo will come back 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It's one of the core cultures of the planet. What's this delivery? Oshibori. Delivering hot hand towels. The guy in the bar next door, this is funny, the bar 2 doors down, he's underneath the theater there. He's got a bar, it's called the Orange Bar. He's been here for decades, really old decades. And his normal business plan is he opens about 10 or 11 each evening, and he closes when the trains start up again in the morning. So his clients are people that sit there for a drink, and they'll just sit there all night, nurse some drinks and chatting with the bartender and listening to the PR music and stuff like that. And then they go home on the morning train. This is the guy from the coffee shop across the street coming in to get his towels. But some of the bars are still open, but the city hall has been really strong. Closed by 8. The virus doesn't come out after 8 or something, I guess, whatever. So you can have a bar, you can have chatting, you can have talking, but make sure you're closed by 8. So his business model all of a sudden has worked. So he has switched the last few days to running an all-day bar. He's already there this morning. I saw him. He walked in this morning as I was getting my camera set. How are you doing? Good morning, good morning. He's here at 7 o'clock in the morning. So he switched to an open all-day business model and closed at night to try and fit in with the regulations. We said I would buy the building, the temple owns the land. Yes, Sensoji owns everything here. As far as I understand it, it's from the river to Kokusai Dori, which is where the Asakusa View Hotel is, and from Asakusa Dori to Kotodori Dori. It's the giant area around here. I don't know if it's 100% owned by them or most of it, I don't know the details, but they're the main landlord here. And then across Kokusai Dori, it's the temple called Higashi Honganji that owns most of the land there. This whole area between here and Ueno Station is entirely owned by temples. Financing, we've got like our Patreon campaign, which has really helped us enormously over the past couple of years. And we have what we call share certificates for those. You've seen, I think I've got my hand here. And we call them share certificates. Here's a sample. They were like this. And we call them share certificate Mokuhaka, and it's share in the fund certificate. This is not an actual share. You can't sell shares legally online in a little internet campaign. It was a support, and we in return give the certificate in whatever form. But I don't know the Japanese rules. In America, the rules have changed where you can actually do crowdfunding for actual shares in certain types of companies. So that is another idea for potential funding for this. It's like the holding company is going to buy the building, and the holding company is owned by owned by the fans. As in an actual company with sellable shares. The temple owns the land, those guys are okay, you know, my God, they're okay. They get revenue from all the rents. And then people just come to the temple every day and throw money at the temple. In the New Year's, you've seen them, they line up, what was it, like 3.5 million people on a normal New Year visit Sensoji? And they all throw money in there. Nobody will throw less than 10, 50 bucks in there. And they pay no taxes. It's the biggest graft on the planet. I can't bitch about that though, you know, Sensoji and the fact that they are there and the big lanterns are there and the culture is here. That's what brings the people to this district. So it's not like they're just taking money for us and giving nothing in return. What they bring in return or give in return is, of course, you know, not eyeballs, feet. You know, they bring people here. All the people that come to Mokuhankan, it's not just because of Sensoji. People come to see us because they want to see us. But the fact that we are here in this area makes it a no-brainer. People come to Tokyo, of course, head for Asakusa Sensoji, go and see Dave. So it's not, you know, it wouldn't be fair for me to completely just criticize them for just taking money and giving nothing in return. What they give in return is 1,000 years of culture and history that bring people to this district. But I still think they should pay taxes. As far as owning the land, when I don't, that's fine, they were here first, you know. Be careful, which are shadows? These are not shadows now, these are fingers, okay? These are fingers bumping into each other. This is a string. This has to come in straight. At that point, that's where the string disappears. The rest of the thing we're seeing now is finger. The current Sensoji buildings, yeah, they're younger than me, absolutely. They were built, I was born in 51. The current temple is, I think it's 1958, they finally got back together after the war. It burned down, it didn't burn down, it was destroyed by American bombing in the spring of 1945, along with 100,000 people. Well, it came back in 1958, they rebuilt it. And actually, that's another whole different story too. There's a huge problem with this. When they rebuilt the temple in 1958, they didn't use the old traditional, wooden methods. It was all going to be ultra-modern stuff, and they used this concrete and steel. But they did it with 1958 style concrete and steel when there wasn't many resources, and they scrimped and saved and whatever. And I guess there was lots of problems. The concrete is not the best grade of concrete. They use some salty sand or something, whatever. And inside, apparently, the engineering reports come back, and it is a decaying mess inside. They refurbished it on the outside a couple of years ago. It's all freshly red painted, looks really cool, the tiles shine in the sunshine and everything else. But structurally, apparently, it is a rat's nest. It's decaying, rotted concrete everywhere all the way through it. So these guys are faced with a problem now. It's obviously lost its earthquake resistance. It looks wonderful. It earns them billions of dollars a year. But the structure itself now totally needs replacement. Or whatever, they can afford it, I guess. They can afford it. Or even if they, whatever, they would put out I don't know exactly what they would do. They would put out a campaign, a global campaign, donate to Sensoji Temple, help us rebuild this thing, blah, blah, blah. Even though they're sitting on billions of dollars of gold bars in the basement, whatever. They would put out the campaigns. But they're going to have to face this, I guess, sooner or later. I don't know how critical it is. Is it actually falling down or whatever? But the beautiful red, wonderful temple you see on the front is just a shell. It's the same as this building we're in. This building we're in here was built in about 1950. We don't know. It's interesting. There's a blank space. When we first signed the lease for this place, we investigated, what we could about the building, this and that. We went to the land registry and looked up the building. And there's lots and lots of confusion about actually which building is on which spot. The same address is used for 3 or 4 buildings next door to each other. And the records are really terrible. Lots of them were destroyed during the war. And it's really not sure which information pertains to which building. And the space that has the date of construction of this building is blank, and it's got actually literally had a question mark in it. So the Legal Affairs Bureau, the Land Registry Agency, doesn't know when this place was built. Who knows what shenanigans went on. Even the house I bought in Ome, the same thing, the deed of the place. I've got the deed for it, I own it, but the land registry and the reality don't match at all. The area where my Ome home is a residential area, and it's zoned for 2-story construction. Now, actually, my building in Ome there is 4 stories. How did they get away with that? Well, they didn't. When you go look at the land registry data for my building in Ome, it shows land, blah, 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 package, there's the dimensions, there's the survey report, blah, blah, blah. And it then says, on that land, there are 2 buildings. It says there's a 2-story concrete structure building, and then it's listed again, another building as a 2-story wooden frame building. So there are 2 separate buildings listed on the land registry from my home. And actually, there aren't 2 buildings, there's only one, and it's 4 stories high. Not just me, it's the whole group of them, the whole houses were all built together in a group. So just somebody got creative. Either the guy at City Hall got creative, or the construction company got creative, whatever. This is 35 years ago, I guess, or something, 33 years ago when the place was built. So there are rules, and then there are ways to use the rules. touching all this, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm zoned residential with a restaurant across the street. Same thing too. If you we're running a business in the only building, zoning here in Japan doesn't bother about stuff like that. Doesn't bother. When I lived in Hamura before I moved to Ome, it was a residential zone. The house next to our apartment was a little electrical contractor. He did wiring for people's houses and stuff like this, And beside his house, he had a little dump where he'd do renovation of some building and dump the stuff. And he had some, on the power poles, there's these, what are they? They're where they transform the voltage down to a household level or whatever. He's got these big sort of transformer rectifiers. He'd taken off an old project, dumped them in. They're leaking this black fluid. It's like PCBs and whatever. This is in a residential area. We made a lot of noise about that. We lost some friends because of that, but whatever. Zoning is zoning here in Japan. Do I have customers from Japan that will still get chip and they get you some money? No. Our sales last year, in 2019, the last year we have full figures for, 3% of our income was from residents of Japan, people who weren't shipping overseas or who weren't Menze tax-free or who weren't foreigners, 3%. And that was print parties. We don't sell prints in Japan, nobody. I think on the website last year, the Japanese website sold, it was 2 or 3, I can't remember which was the figure. Japanese people these days don't buy stuff. They don't buy stuff. KonMari has destroyed consumption in Japan for anything except food and clothing. So. Any YouTube videos incoming? Yes. Yes. Hang on. The beer machines on every intersection. No, you're out of date. When I first came to Japan, there were indeed beer machines on every intersection. No longer. There are no longer, this alcohol is no longer sold from vending machines outside. No. In a hotel lobby, yes. In a building that is authorized with a liquor license, yes. There's no more beer in outdoor vending machines. Period. That stopped years ago. Yeah, as John says, in a hotel, no problem. They have a license for this. They're okay. But not outdoors. There's no more outdoor alcohol sales from vending machines. I was stunned when I saw that years ago. I'm thinking, what? And actually it was. It was too good to be true, and it was stopped. Sensibly, of course. Yeah. What's our time? 9:12. A few more minutes of this. Shorter, a little bit. Just give me a few more minutes. Let me finish this last couple of fingers here. Yeah, the convenience store thing, of course, and that's perhaps part of this change when that era when beer stuff was available from vending machines, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Before that, the convenience of the vending machines has now been replaced, of course, by the convenience of convenience stores. And that rule I said, where they don't sell beer from vending machines, that's certainly the case in urban areas here. Maybe out in the boonies where there are no convenience stores, perhaps there are indeed still machines selling beer and sake. I don't know. I'm speaking of the environment that I know. Where of course it doesn't matter about the vending machines because there's a convenience store on pretty much every corner. And they have been for the past bunch of years. They've been 24/7, and that is now changing. Not just because of the virus thing, but because of the labor shortage. They have had real trouble getting labor, enough people to work through the night. And there's a giant sea change coming in the convenience store industry. And again, this is not virus related. They're switching to a no staff model. And of course, even now most supermarkets, they have a, what do you call it? A self-service cash register. And the Lawson convenience store around the corner behind me now has 2 cash registers, and one of them has switched to self-service. And that's clearly going to be the model for the future. And when you get to the door of the convenience store, it's sort of semi-locked. This is during the night. And you wave your smartphone, it knows who you are, it lets you in. And of course you gather your stuff, take it to the counter, and bing, click your smartphone and out you go. You don't need an attendant, And it's basically a trustworthy country. You could run places like that without staff. It knows who came in there, you've waved your phone, the door locks behind you. It would be doable. I can't speak for New York, but it would certainly be doable here in Tokyo. So that's the future a couple of years down the line. There's just not enough labor. Now we ourselves, we are really hit by this, This, in one sense, this disaster that's hit us in this past few months has been a savior for me in one sense. When you go back to late last year, November, December, it's a... domo, arigatou gozaimasu. Domo, domo. Too many stories. We were November, December into January. Dave had actually sort of a semi-crisis on his hands. We had trained people to do our print parties, but a number of them had left just at that time. Watabashi-san, her husband, became really sick, and she wasn't able to continue as a party host. 2 of the girls got pregnant. 2 more decided to go back to Germany. I lost 5 people in December and January who had been trained up, ready to do the print parties in the spring. And yet the order book was stuffed. Reservations. Every day sold out through March, April, the time that we're sitting in right now. I had no idea what to do. It was just simply going to be Dave who was going to have to do most of the print parties by himself through March and April. And then along came this virus, shut the shop. So that saved my life. And it's the same thing we're talking about, labor. I cannot find labor. I cannot get enough people to do the jobs we needed to be done. All of a sudden that's gone. That's a different story we have now to survive. But that's the base ground, the environment we live in here. Okay, it's 9:17. We have show and tell and an extra show and tell that just showed up. Let's zoom out. Where are we? Conversations. Well, I think you carrier pigeons. The prints are light. We can roll them up, tie them around a pigeon's leg. I don't know what the hell we're going to do. I don't know. It seems like C-mail and or bulk packages DHL to JED. I don't know. Okay, show and tell. Yesterday's show and tell, Monday. was the TV block from Ito-san. I don't have it here, I put it back upstairs, it's gone. The block that appeared in our videos, you know, those 2 videos I made with Ito-san, 2 TV programs I made with him back in 1996 and 1998 or 1999, whenever it was. And then later I made my own video about meeting Ito-san, and it is still the #1 director that throws people our way. Every day, thousands of people see that video. Every day, dozens of people comment on that video. David, thanks for it, thanks for the work. The video of meeting Ito-san changed our lives and is still going to change things going forward. And yesterday, when I was cleaning up, last week, when I was cleaning up my room upstairs, I came across Ito-san's old TV block, so I showed it in the stream on Monday. Well, of course, what that made me think about then was, of course, the next step. There's something else that those of you who have seen that video and who've seen this and know about Ito-san might be interested in seeing. Of course, I have with me the knife that I received from Ito-san's wife after he died. We've blogged about this. I've had this now for 20 years. We've got pictures of it on the website. I should have prepared a link for this. It'll be in the round table. Let me find the link, because this is worthwhile. It'll help you see what's going on here. Let me find the link here, just 1 second. Here we are. Found it. Google found it for me. First top of Google. Here's a link. These are close-up photographs of the tool I have right here in front of me. This is Ito-san's carving knife. I know there's a few other tools. I have some of his smaller iSki. We have about a 4mm, a 3mm, and a 2mm iSki chisel. And these are real iSki chisels in the sense of these are actually Japanese blades, formed and shaped, 2 kinds of steel, the hard steel and the soft steel. These are legitimate actual blades. And then I have 3 of his poker type tools. Poker as in poking and prying. You know, I've got one myself, the one I use. And this is the one made from a sewing machine needle. And you can tell the difference, because the sewing machine needle, there's the old groove in the middle. It's where the string came down. Can you see it? There's the groove in the back. It's where the string came down. This was some big fat, this must have been the mother of all sewing machine needles. It's easily like 2mm wide. So he's got 3 of these tools, and they're used quite differently. The sewing machine needles, they're stainless steel, and you can get in there and poke and pang and pang and pang and pang, and it won't break. But the real iSki chisels made from Japanese steel, you can't pry with them. You have to sharpen them, and you cut and cut and cut. And you've seen me doing that the same way. I've got my own variations of these tools, my own iSki chisels and my own pokers. And Ito-san's show clearly his right-handed orientation. You can see the way the thing comes back. He sharpens, remember, if he's got his sharpening stone, how can I do this? He's got his sharpening stone horizontally. He doesn't go front and back like me, he goes side to side. And because he was right-handed, I can't do this without spoiling the tool. He sharpened side to side like this. And then for the back of the tool, he put it flat on the stone. And then he moved his body side to side, side to side. And you can see the notch in the wood at the back where he moved this way. There's the notch. And then he came back, and he must have not gone to the left. He must have just gone right, 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 right. And that, if you do it slowly, click, that's carving away wood at the bottom here, and you can see he ended up with a notch on all of his iSki blades. But the big one, the main point of all this is the knife, the main knife. What his knife case says, it's a postcard, it's a stamp, it's a 40 yen Japanese postcard. He must have received a postcard in the mail one day. He needed something. He just rolled up the postcard and put tape around it. There's no message here. This is just a postcard. And there's the knife. And of course, I've never used it, never will use it. I would break it straight away still, even at the level I am. There's no point to use it. If I use it, it would have to be sharpened and it would disappear. So every now and then I rub it, I haven't done this in a while, I rub it with a bit of camellia oil to make sure it's just slightly preserved with a bit of oil. Try not to keep it from going rusty. Now there's close-up photographs of it on that web page that we linked somewhere. And what can I say about this thing? The knife itself is really thin. This thickness here, as opposed to, where's my? This thickness here is way thinner than mine already. And when it gets to the active point, he is now filed off the top to make it even thinner. So this part of the knife is super thin, and then coming down to the tip, he's sharpening at an extremely low angle. By making the thing thinner, it means you can get your angle lower, 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 lower this way, giving the angle a very, very acute angle at the flatness at the tip of the blade. And he would have sharpened like this, side by side, side by side, side to side, side to side. It's also quite short handle-wise, but long blade-wise. He let a lot of blade length stick out of his hand. There's a difference there for me. Remember, I'm using my knives, I'm cutting under my nose in front of me. So that's how much I need out of this. Ito-san is not doing it this way. Traditional carvers, they're carving over the back of their hand this way, looking down. And you see, if I try and do it with mine, you need to stick out the knife. He did it so that the knife was in his hand and just the blade sticks out. So interesting, he's a right-handed carver carving traditionally over the top. I'm a left-handed carver using a right-handed blade carving in front of my face. We'll never use it, it just sits here as a sample. You know, we'll show it and we'll tell it. And when we have our exhibition space here at some point, of course, we'll do an exhibition of his tools and prints. I've got a folder upstairs of prints. In all the years of buying and selling prints here, the past 5 years, every time something comes in that was made by Ito-san, I've been scooping the good ones and keeping them here. So we have a selection now of dozens and dozens and dozens of prints carved by Ito-san. This is still, even with the oil on it nowadays, it still gets a little bit rusty here, you know. I don't really know what I can do to take care of this other than just bathe it in oil. You see these little 2 dots there? That's not a nick. That's actually a bit of rust starting there. I've got to get this thing taken care of a bit more carefully. Anyway, there it is. This is Ito-san's knife, along with the other thing too. You know, we're looking at these the other day. They're worn, hugely worn by the guy's hand. See the shape here? There's a sort of a ding in it. And that wouldn't have been made. That's years and years and years of work by the guy's hand. I'm lefty, so if I was using this, my left thumb goes on this side, but there's no line. He's a right-handed person, so his right-hand thumb, I can't do it backwards, but if you imagine, like, there we are. I'm using it as a lefty, my left thumb is under there. With him as a right-handed person, his right thumb is under there, and it's worn out this wood. We're looking at a lifetime. He probably made this when he was an apprentice, and he would use it all his life. All his life. And of course, the modern way is to use the brass ferrule. The old traditional carvers never. They wound it with cord. It's a lot more troublesome to change the knife, but it's much safer for the work. You keep your angle really low, and nothing at the bottom here, you'll bang into the print, the block. If you're carving with these, you've always got the risk the bottom of this thing will possibly bang in. You have to keep your angle a bit higher because of that. But because there's no metal ferrule here, you can go down, 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 and really get a beautiful scooping, sliding action on these. Anyway, they're here. They're always in a case upstairs. If you're visiting somebody, no chance of that. If you're visiting somebody, just ask, and we bring them out and show them to people. There's nothing secret about these. Don't know when we're going to get visitors anymore. But anyway, there you go. Ito-san's little collection of carving tools. You never noticed I'm left-handed? What do you think, the video was all reversed or something? So the stone stairs on ancient buildings, this is it, you know. I feel a bit sad about my own work, you know. I've got my own, these ones wear out. This will have been replaced many times during his career. And in the case of my handle, this is the third or fourth one that I've used. So actually this is fairly new. This is only about 5 or 6 years old. So that doesn't show a lot of wear. But the ice-ski chisels, and here's mine, and this is now, when did I get this? This would have been 1980 or so, I guess, somewhere in 1980. So it's got wear and tear, and it's got sort of gunk built up on it, but it's nowhere near as funky as his. And of course the difference is he did nothing but carving from the time he was 14 till the time he died at 89 or whatever, except for his military service in the middle. Every day, every day, every day. Me, I just carve now and again, now and again, now and again. So I've got a little bit of funkiness on my tools, but nothing that matches his. And it never will, of course, you know. Look at mine, they're embarrassing. They're a bit funky, but my God. That's okay, that's the difference between a full, lifelong craftsman and a guy who does a lot of other stuff at the same time. No embarrassment. Anyway, there you go. I thought it'd be fun to show you these. We looked at them the other day and thought, oh, I can use that for show and tell. Okay, there we are. It's Thursday, we're done. I am now going to take a break, get a cup of coffee, try and relax and forget about the shipping stuff for a minute because I have to print the hair on 60 copies of The Octopus upstairs this morning. It's not going to be easy. I've got to make 100 prints for the sale this last week, and I'm doing 60 and 60, out of which we will get 50-50. There's the 100. So I'll be doing that this morning if I can try and relax and get this thing done properly. Somebody will be bragging about owning these tools. So if somebody's going to show these on a show and tell or on a video, I got the tools. I found them on an auction. Those tools from that dude, you know, I got it on an auction. Just $5. I'm out of here. Enough today already. I'm out of here. I'll be back at this Saturday morning, probably with some more carving on John's key block here, if I'm still alive by then. Thanks so much, guys. See you then. Signing out now. What can you do? You do what you gotta do. Thanks again. Bye-bye.